Oh, hi. So today we are painting the Golden Gate Bridge. So let me show a picture of, I've done it twice. I taught it as a class one time, and the first time it turned out like this. And the second time, my son, who's an AP, he said, Mom, there's no perspective. You have to make the let me say, he said, you have to make the bridge get smaller. And I was like, you're right. I didn't do any perspective here. But, I mean, if you don't mind perspective, but if you want perspective, here it is, perspective, not perspective. Okay. So anyway, the picture you have, the actual picture I gave you, is probably the one without perspective. But the good thing is you can see the colors and you can see when I'm talking about different areas, what to do. And I really like the green in it and all that other stuff. Okay. All right. So what you need to do to begin with is you need a couple glasses of water. I usually use ones that you would find in a pub, 16-ounce or what have you, nothing smaller. And I fill it up 3/4 of the way. And another thing that I have is I have a couple paper towels. So I think that's pretty important for you to have a couple paper towels. So what you're going to do is I've given you this picture, and this picture has the perspective. The only thing that it's missing is the little X. So if you don't mind not having the little X right here, otherwise you could just put it in. I just completely forgot it. And I think when I was copying from the internet, I didn't see it either. So I'm going to pretend that I am just getting this box for the first time. So I'm opening my box. Hang on to these. I would like them back. And I'm like, ooh, let's see what Joan has in store for us. Well, this tape is actually pretty important. So hang on to the tape. That is special art tape, so it won't ruin your paper. So hang on to that. I would like the bag back so I don't have to keep buying them. You don't have to put it back in there when you're done. That's fine. And this time I gave everybody a sheet so you can see exactly the colors you're using, and it may help you when you're trying to do it on your own. It's up to you. Okay. To begin with, what I'd like you to do is make sure that your big brush is completely clean by sticking it in the water and then rubbing it on the paper towel to make sure that there's nothing on it. Many times the paintbrushes come back a little bit dirty, so you want it clean. Okay, so with the clean, you're going to take your plate, and I'm going to put a couple drops just like this into each of the colors to get it reconstituted. I'm not going to touch it though. I am just going to take my thing here and put in 2 or 3 drops. That's all I'm doing. And by the time we use it, it will be ready for us to use. So we don't have to get it all. We used to scratch it and get it ready. And I'm just like, no. We're not doing that anymore. It's much easier just to put little drops in there and then set it off to the side. Okay, so what is inside here? Let's have a look-see. Well, inside your box, you should have a number of different things. You will have different size paintbrushes, and you will have a pencil. There is a sharpener. Go ahead and sharpen that. I do not want your shavings. Some people think that I need your shavings, and I don't need your shavings, please. So go put that somewhere else, not in the box. Okay. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the piece of paper that I gave you that looks like this, and you're going to take the number 2B pencil, and then we're going to scribble on the back. Oh, no, that sounds kind of weird. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And most people don't get this until they're like, oh, I see. All right, that makes sense. I'm going to share it with you right now. Let's see if I can share it with you, if it will work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Well, let's try it again. Sometimes it has trouble. So let me try it again. Moving things around. And if it doesn't work, well, then I'll have to just start again. Share my screen, go to advanced, and then content from second screen, share. There, ta-da. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take my number 2 pencil, and wherever, if you hold it up to the light, you can see where the picture is. Okay, so I'm going to take my pencil and literally just wherever there is drawing on the other side, I have to have this. So I don't even do it near my watercolor paper. I do it on a completely different thing because I don't want any markings on my watercolor paper. So of course, you will run out of lead quite quickly. And so you got to go and sharpen it up again. And then when you pick it up, you can see that wherever I put the dark, that's where the drawing is. If, for example, I didn't get this side right here, then I wouldn't get the side. See, there's nothing in back here. If you can see, there's nothing on the back of this. So this would never, I have to make sure that wherever there is a drawing, I have this because we're going to be making a tracing. And the only way we can make a tracing is if I have the lead on the other side. I tend to be heavy-handed. Some people are a lot lighter-handed than I am. But I still think that, I don't know, I'd rather be too heavy than too light because you can't go back and do it again. Okay, as long as I know where this ocean meets the sand, I'm fine. So I'm kind of looking underneath to see where I need that line. I mean, worst case scenario, I don't get that part done, you know. So anyway, I want to say welcome if this is your first time. I really should say welcome more often, and I don't. I just go straight into it. I forget to say all my little things. This class actually takes about an hour, maybe two hours, maybe 2.5 hours. But what can really help it speed it up is if you have a hair dryer. So for my online class, I'm expecting people to have hair dryers. If you don't have a hair dryer, you're just going to have to wait for yours to dry in between. That's all. No big whoop. And you know, sometimes maybe you're in the busy making dinner or something, and maybe you just, it's a good thing to keep coming back to. All right, it looks like, whoops, looks like my lead is popping out. That's a problem. If any of the supplies are bad, please write me a note and tell me, for example, white pen is dried up. Ooh, good. That would, a note inside my box, inside the box that you return to me, then I'll replace the pen because I never check to see if things are working. And my lead popped out again, yay. Okay, so now that I have it all scribbled on the other side, I'm going to take my piece of paper, and I gave you guys, just put my finger in the paint. That was nice. I gave you guys some really nice paper. It's called Arches. Pretty sure I gave you Arches. Did I give you? I think I did this time. I think I splurged, you guys. And I gave you Arches cold pressed, 140 pound. So obviously this one is empty. Or maybe, is there a piece of paper left in here? Surprise, nothing. Surprise, nothing. Okay, well, now you know that I used all my paper. Okay, well, now I have to find another one. Well, I think for my painting, I will just use not the greatest paper. You guys have better paper than I do. That's all right. I'm using 140, but it's Canson, excuse me. It's just not as good as my favorite in the whole wide world. It's a little bit more expensive. The one I gave you, it's a couple dollars a sheet. Okay, so what I do with my special tape is I tape it down to the top. And that way it's not going to move while I go ahead and do all of the designs. Okay, I'm actually thinking, I'm wondering if I can draw a little X here. I just wonder if maybe I should. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an X. X marks the spot and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, well, we'll see what happens, right? And then we'll know. You guys don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I'm doing a little X, and it almost looks like we have a piece coming across here. Oh, well, I'll see what happens. Who knows? We'll see what happens. In some ways, I feel like I just want to make one piece here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and trace in all of the lines. And when all of the lines are traced in, I can take it off. But this is what's happening. It's coming through fairly well. All right. So I'm going to put you guys on pause while I finish mine, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Once I feel like I have everything on there, I lift it up. Oops, I forgot one line, but I don't think it's a big deal. Well, I kind of already took it off, so we'll see what happens if I put it in there. It's sort of okay. All right, so I'm done with that, and I can just fold it up because it's kind of messy. And then I have an eraser. You might have a new one and you have to take it out of the pack. Otherwise, it's pretty old, but you can still use it. And I like to get rid of the smudges. So I'm just kind of rolling it around or tapping. I don't usually rub it like that because I don't want to ruin the kind of paper that I have. So yeah, I just kind of roll it around a little bit and get rid of some stuff here. Yeah, that's all. Most of the lines will be covered up when you're doing your painting, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, some of my lines are actually a little squiggly, so I may erase them, and then when I go back with a pen, put them in a little better, or I'll just forget about it and I won't even put the lines in, with our micron pen. Okay, so first things first, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I always have my paper towels nearby. We won't need the pen anymore, or the eraser, any of that stuff. But the first thing I'm going to do is take out the largest paintbrush. Cleaning it off, making sure it's clean. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be pre-wetting the sky. So this here's the sky, this whole thing up here. I'm going to try not to put a lot around my, I just got a mark on it when I did that with my brush. I'm going to try not to get a lot in this area. I'm going to refer to the painting quite often. And so when I look at the painting, I see that it's light here. So when I get it wet, I'm going to get it wet all the way up to this blue bit right here. And I'm going to go ahead and get the whole thing wet. And then I'm just going to put down a little bit of color here and there. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I use a couple of the colors. I usually go in order of how I'm going to use the colors. So this is just, we're kind of go a circle. We're going to end with the, we're going to start with the sky, do the ocean, and then the background. And then we're going to go down and do the beach. And then we're going to do the rocks. And then we're going to end with the bridge. And then at the very last thing, we'll put in the white for the foam on the water. So I'm going to get rid of, I will be using different size brushes today, But I think more than anything, it's important to keep the picture available. So you're always looking at the picture. So you have an idea of where you're going. So I kind of put mine up near my glass so I can see what's happening. Okay, so the first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get my water ready. So I'm going to be using this color. So I'm bringing it over to the next one over. So I am going to use that color, and then clean off my brush, take a little bit and put it in the next pan over. I will be using that color. And then the darker color I'm going to put right here, so that when I'm doing the sky, I have a couple colors ready to go. We don't take right off of the pod. We actually paint from the square. And that way, you know, it's already ready and to go. And I think I need a little bit more blue here. So I'm just adding some more blue. This is sort of a colder blue, and this gets warmer and warmer, I think. Okay, if you want a little bit of gray in your sky, that's okay too. You can add a little bit of the next color down. That's possible if you want some. Okay, so now we're all set to go. And now I'm cleaning off my brush. And I'm taking my water with my big brush, and I'm going all the way up to that one line in the back there. So I'm getting it all wet. And I actually have to make sure when I do this that I'm really getting it all wet, because you really will be able to see if you've got some areas that you didn't get wet. So you can tilt your head sideways to make sure that the whole thing is shiny. You don't need tons and tons of water, but it definitely has to be wet for this to work. Okay. All right. So what am I going to do now? Well, now that it's all nice and wet, okay, I'm going to take my lightest color just to see what it looks like, and I'm going to put it on my paper. Move it around a little bit. I like that, nice and wet. Now I'm going to take my next color, and I wanted my next color to be a little darker. So I am just putting it right through there, right? And I can even go in and put in some more water. And I can go right through, because remember, I have to go through all of the lines because I can't stop the sky. The sky goes throughout the whole thing. Okay, now I don't want a lot on my actual bridge because I want to be able to see it. And I still want to move this around a little bit. And I'm even going to put in a little bit of darker color. So I'm throwing in some darker color, moving it around. Okay. All right. I like it. I'm going right up to it. And I know this is crazy. This looks like crazy painting, but all we're doing is just getting down a nice background. Okay. All right. Everything looks pretty good. I like it. I don't want to see marks though. So make sure there's enough water to move it around so you don't see brush strokes. That I don't want to see brush strokes. Okay. All right, now the very last thing I'm going to do is I need to decide, am I going to use a little bit of gray? I am this time. I'm going to put a little bit at the top because, you know, sometimes we have days that are a little bit gray in San Francisco, but I don't want it to look too dreary. So I'm going to add a couple other colors with it and see how that looks. Who knows? I don't know how that's going to look. Add some more water, wiggle it around, and see what happens. Doo-doo. I know it's crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy. It's me being crazy. Now I'm going to pick it up, tap it a few times, tap it this way, and once you're done doing this, you can't go back. I don't want you going back. So you kind of have to decide, okay, is this it? Am I done? Do I like my sky? It's okay. It's got some movement. I see some colors in it. I'll go a little closer so you can see. If I pick it up, you can see that there isn't, see? It looks fine. It looks like maybe there's a storm coming. It doesn't look too doom and gloom, but I don't want a lot of focus on the sky anyway. Okay, guys? All right, while that is drying, we are now going to go and we are going to be putting in the color for the water. Now, I had a little bit of problem. I put my watercolor in the wrong place. So I actually have to remove mine. And I see that the watercolor goes right up here. So I'm going to get my paper wet wherever there is water. I'm going to go up into the mountain, into the rocks, because later on we will paint that with white. So make sure you go up into the rocks. That's very important. Don't keep that white. And now I'm going to go straight across here because that's where my water is, and all over the place. But I am going to stop at the sand. I'm not going to go farther than the sand. Okay. So now that's all wet, and I'm going to use my darker blue. I'm going to use my darker blue, and I'm going to go in the background right here. Okay, so there it goes darker and then it gets lighter. So if you look at your picture, you'll notice that right under that blue part, okay, we get the darker blue up here. That's okay. Don't worry about the white. We want the blue to show through, so make sure you have blue there. Pretty important to have a little bit darker blue, so when we put the white in, you've got something interesting happening. Okay, so where else do I need some nice dark blue? Well, I think I want some blue here. Now, if you don't want your water to be super duper duper blue, you know, like we're in some tropical island, you can add, I'm going to add a little bit of the lighter blue here too. You can add a little dark to it. If you want it to be dark, kind of mysterious, that's okay too. But we will add light at the end. We will add white. So if it gets dry, remember just to add a little water, move it around. Okay, so I've got my blue in now. That's it. That's all I wanted to do is to get that blue in. And again, if I wanted a tiny bit darker, just add a tiny bit of dark, tiny bit of black in there. And that will give you a nice, deep, dark blue if you want it to get a little bluer there. And like I said, you want it to be blue around the edges so that when we add our white, it'll look real funky. Okay. All right, that's it for that, guys. Now I'm going to put you on mute while I dry it up with my hair dryer. It's really important that you guys dry it on low because this will start moving. And I don't know if you necessarily want this to move. If you feel like there's some little fingers coming out of it, just move it around a little bit. But that's it. Once you're done with that, you're done with it. You're not going to do anything else. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put you on pause while I dry it, but be careful not to push it real fast. Just do it gently, back and forth. Pausing you now. Okay, I'm back. And I used my hair dryer, so it's very dry. Okay. All right, we're going to be doing this part back here. I'm going to try to avoid getting these, whatever this thing, but the bridge is. Somebody's at the door, so the dogs are barking. But I am going to make sure that I get in to the little areas that are not. So I can't use my big brush anymore. Nope. I'm actually going to use my brush that is, I'm not going to go from, I'm going to go, I'm kind of going to use two brushes. I'm going to use one brush that is probably, this one says it's a 3. I don't believe it. This one's a 1. I could maybe use my 4 or my 6. This is an 8. It looks like a 6 though. Well, whatever. I'm going to use a smaller brush. So I'll zoom in here so you can see. It's not my detail brush, but I think I'm going to use this one because it's got this one's got a nice point so I can get in there and get in there. And then I'm just going to go across. So what the heck? I'll use my small one. Who cares? Okay, again, to wet it though, to wet it, I'm going to use my bigger brush. I'm going to go in and get this whole area wet, but I am not going to get the sky. And I'm going to try real hard not to get into my water. So cruising along, getting some water in there, a little here, a little there. Okay, let me back up a bit. So what color am I going to put in there? Well, I want it to be kind of gray. So I'm going to be using my gray. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in there, but I have to tell you, I want it to have a little blueness to it. So I'm adding blue to this gray to get a blue gray. I'm adding this darker blue to get a blue gray. Is it coming? Is it coming? Now I'm going to add some of this blue to it because I want it to be bluey gray-y. Okay, I think I like it. So you can test it out on a scratch piece of paper. You can even test it out if you want on your the picture that I gave you, or any paper you want to. So it's already been pre-wet. I'm going to go ahead and put this color in. I'm not going all the way to the top though. I'm going in and adding lots of water as I do it, because I don't want it to be super dark. I want it to be as light as possible, because then it'll look like it's in the distance. So here I go, putting it in, being really careful not to get the water. I got to go in here and do this little doodad, and there you go. There's the water. And now I'm coming up on the rocks. If I bump into the rocks, it's not the end of the world, okay? Because I got to tell you, even if it's a little bumpy into the sky, it's not the end of the world, because this is just the background. This is just like some of those little mountains that are back there, you know? The Marin rolling hills. All right, so I think I got it all in there okay. Wiggle it around a bit. And I think another thing I should do is make sure that there are parts that are darker and lighter. That'll look kind of neat. So as I'm going across, get that little part in there so it doesn't look too goofy. And now I'm going to take my brush and put little dabs of water in it. And that'll make it look nice and light. So I know it's weird, but we're sort of picking it up. I'm cruising along and picking it up. Now the picture I gave you, it looks a lot darker, but I think it'll look prettier if you can get it lighter. So that's what I'm trying to do. Get that area lighter, and every now and again you could put in a little dash of another color, like a little blue or something. So I did. I put light, but then I also dashed in a little bit of different color. Okay. Doot, doot, doot. I know I didn't give you very good instructions, but it's sort of like it's light, but it's not. Make it not look just one silly color. Okay. So if you can do that, it would be Marvy. So I'm going to scroll in here so you can see, and you can always look at the other thing, you know, to see that it's the same color. Yeah. Funny thing is, this looks bigger here than it does here. So I don't know why. It just looks thinner for some reason. Beats me. Okay. So I don't know what this is. I'm going to actually change mine to make it look green and grassy and something's happening there. Otherwise, it looks like a beached whale, and I don't know what's going on there. So I'm just telling you, I'm going to try and make mine look like a rock. I'm going to try at least. Okay. So now we take our big brush again. Okay. I'm going to go back and show you. We are going to get this color ready. This is the sand. But then, whoops, a little bit of blue got in my sand. Oh, well, that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm it up with a little bit of the burnt umber. Excuse me, it's burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. So there you go. Put that in there. Okay. And then after I get the sand down, then I warm it up. Then to make the sand look dark, I'm going to take my black and put a little bit of that in there with a little bit of brown. So I'm going to take a little bit of brown. Oh, I didn't want that black there. Hang on. Hang on, everybody. I did not want that much black there. So in a situation like that, all I do is clean it up. I don't want the black there yet. No. I want the brown there. That's the color I want for the sand to make it look dark along the edge. Okay, so sand, warm it up, a little bit of brown. So what am I going to do? I'll show you. I'll zoom in here. Okay, here goes, guys. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on, huh? Okay, so I'm going to take my dirty water and I'm going to go like this and get it wet. There's my sand. Then I'm going to take that yellowish poopy color and I'm going to put it down. I like it. Okay. Yellowish poopy color. And now, because it's sort of yellow and yucky looking, and who would want to be at that beach, I'm going to put a little bit of my burnt sienna on it. And I just think that warms it up so much. Now, you know, sand has high spots and low spots and all sorts of spots and everything. So you don't want it to look all uniform. So when you do it, if you could possibly make little areas that look different like that. Okay. So now I'm going to take my darker color, and I have to be careful here, but I am going to run it all the way along the beach. This part here will be where the water hits the sand and it gets wet. Okay, don't worry about how it looks because we are going to put water on some waves in it. But the part that is concerning me is this part right between the two. So what we need to do is we need to make it darker at the top where it gets dark, where it's, you know, wateriest. Oh my God, I can't even talk, where it's wettest. And then I want to take a clean damp brush and just gently move it into the, kind of meld it into there. I can even take a little bit of my sand color and go ahead in it. And that way the dark stays dark and it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So it really does look like a beach. You know, if I stand it up, it will start to run a little bit, and that's okay. But what I can do is I can take my brush, gently go back and forth to get rid of all those little spider lines. You know, if I think that it's coming down too fast, well, then I got to catch it. Okay. So yeah, sometimes it's darker a little farther up. You can get it a little bit farther up. You don't have to have it one line because the waves do that, right? So I can go in again and then make the transition from dark to light, just like that. And it'll look real pretty, I think. As long as the darkest part is up here next to the waves, it'll look good. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. Remember, what you think is perfect, it's almost better just to have it kind of, I don't know, just sort of, I don't know. That doesn't make sense though, does it? I'm going to put a little bit more warm in there because mine was starting to look a little yucky. Okay. And then again, if you think your sand is looking a little too blah, you can run a little bit of color in it. When we're all done with this, we're going to actually splatter it. So don't worry if it doesn't look like there's enough going on in it. All right. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see, and it looks different on the picture. This did not come out the way I wanted it to. This is way warmer. So don't think it has to look gloomy like this, but I do like how it's dark and it does look like it's wet. Okay, so your color will be way prettier. All right, so what now? Well, I dribbled on my paper, but the good thing is when I put my my frame on it, it will not matter. And by the way, when you put your frame on it, you can decide, do I want a lot of the beach or a little of the beach? And since I dribbled, unfortunately, on my sky, I'm going to probably have more beach. That's just how it goes. And when you put these on it, you will not see this edge and you will not see this edge. So don't stress about getting it perfect. All right, now what are we going to do? Well, this is the exciting part. I think it's all exciting. We're going to go ahead and do the rocks. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there. I'm going to pay attention to what's going on in here. I want it to be bright here. I want a little bit of yellow here and a little bit of yellow. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this color right here. I don't have a lot, but it's enough, just a little. And then the next color I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this. And then I'm going to look the whole time and I'm going to add a little bit of dark. So what I want to do is I'm not going to pre-wet the whole thing. I'll show you what I'm going to do. And we can even use a tiny bit of this, even though we're going to mix these two, but this is a beautiful rusty color. And then I'm also going to use some green. Okay, so what to do? By the way, you're probably wondering why we have purple. This is going to be used for the shadows. If you want to use a little bit of purple in your rocks, you can as well. It's up to you. You can even put a little bit of blue in there if you think it'll look good. So how do I begin my rocks? Well, I am not going to use my big fat brush. No, too big, too big. I'm going to use one that is not too small, but one that's not too big, one that's just right. Now I sound ridiculous. It's either an 8 or a 6, okay? So I know my water's dirty, but I'm okay about it. I'm going to go in and I'm looking at my picture the whole time, and I see that I have yellow here, and I have yellow up here. I want to have some light bits. So yellow, yellow, and a little bit of yellow here. And I'm even going to put a little bit of yellow up there. So I'm going in and I'm adding in my yellow. Light color there. Now, you don't have to worry. Whoops, I just put a little bit of my other one in there, but that's okay. All right, let's see if I have any more light colors. Not really, but that's all right. I don't have any more light colors. So what's the next thing I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and take some of my darker, but I have to put it in that square, right? Anytime I'm using something from the pod, I want to move it. Okay, so what am I doing? Well, I know that I've got rocks that are going sort of on an angle. So because of that, I want to put my things on an angle. I'm going to put a little dark down here because I'm going to put probably 2 or 3 colors on top of that. I think it's pretty. I'm going to go over here and put a little more color. Okay, I know I'm going to put green on top of here, but I still want to have a little bit of that down there. And just because I use a color doesn't mean I can come back and use it. No big whoop. Okay. All right. What color do I want now? Now I want to use that beautiful brown. So it's this one right here. I'm taking a little bit of the brown and putting it here. I might need a little bit of water, otherwise it's too thick. And now I'm looking at my picture. And I do see that it's brown right at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some brown. These are rocks, guys. So they can, just as long as they look rocky, you're fine. So yeah, putting in some rocks. All right. And they're kind of jagged and stuff. So then I go over here and say, yeah, I think I want a little jaggedness at the bottom. And I also think I want to go up a little here. All right, I got some jaggedness going on there. Definitely don't want my lines to show, but sometimes they do. And if I think that my jagged rocks are not dark enough, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a teeny bit of black to darken those rocks up. It should be pretty dark at the bottom. Number one, because, well, they're rocks. And number two, because they're wet. So I do want them to be nice and dark. Okay, so I don't feel like I have enough of this other color. So you can mix a couple colors, and I'm dabbing it in, guys. I'm dabbing in some color. And I feel like I don't have enough different colors. I feel like it's just the land of blob. It's the land of blob, and I don't like it. No. So I'm even going to add a little bit of blue to my dark because I want these guys to look cool. Oh, yes. See what you can do when you mix colors? Oh my God, that's amazing. So yeah, I'm making my rocks different colors. I think I'm a real fan of rocks, I got to tell you, because nobody can say they're wrong, right? They're just rocks. Okay, I'm rocking it, you guys. Oh, that was bad. That was really stupid. Yes, I will never watch this again as long as I live. Okay, so now what do I want to do, Joan? Shoot. Well, I think I want a little more up here. I do. I want to see about, I know I want green at the top. I do. I want green at the top. And I think I don't know what I'm doing here. And I hope you don't either. No, I'm just kidding. I just rocks. Get some darker colors here. Ooh, I like that. See? It's looking rocky, guys. Now it's time for the green. So I am putting a little bit of water on mine and I'm going in. So how do I do this? Well, I know there's green right, and I'm just going to cruise along, and then I'll deal with making it look great later. So all I did was put in some green, and I went ahead and did the other side green where I thought it looked like a beached whale. Why not? It's like Bob Ross. Let's put in some happy little trees. No, guess what? We're putting in some happy little grass. All right, I don't want it to look like a golf course. So how do I not make it look like a golf course? Well, I'll tell you what I have to do. I've got to darken it up. So I'm going to take a teeny bit of black. Thank goodness for that. And go in there and make it look different. Okay, moving it around. Remember, the grass is not like sod, and there might even be some green stuff coming down the hill, like not mold, but like moss, you know, like it's slippery. Oh, I hate those kind of rocks. You think you're going to stand on something and you're going to have tierra firma, like strong, you know, and then you fall and you slip and yeah, that's usually what I do. Okay, so I'm not liking this one, looks sick. This one has a little sick looking to it. So I'm going to add some more yucky green, because how do I get the yucky green? I mixed it with a couple other colors, just a little bit. Now I'm going along the top here. And it's okay, but it looks too light. I don't know if you can see this, but it just looks goofy. So I'm going to have to introduce a little bit of brown. So I'm going to take a little bit of brown here and mix it in there so it doesn't look like I am turf. I am turf. No, I have not been drinking. Not yet. Okay, so I went in there and I put in a little bit of turf. I still think, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to have to lift some. So to lift it, I clean my brush off and I go ahead and swipe it. Swipe or no swiping, remember that? And now I'm going to make it look like there are some hills. There, darker part, lighter part, who cares? Ah, now it doesn't look so perfect. Now it's kind of goofy looking. I like it. Oof, thank goodness. I just don't like it when it looks too manicured, because then you know the person's just trying way too hard. And I don't want that look. I want it to look like wild. Wild and free and craggy and dangerous. Well, okay, not dangerous, but you know what I mean. Okay. So I did a lot of talking and I didn't really tell you anything, but if you just look at the picture, you really can get an idea of how can I get that dark looking? How can I go in there and make some rocks actually look like they've got something going? And I got to tell you, the only way to do it is by going in there and trying it. If you don't like it, you take your brush, you go in there and you clean it up. See? Go in there, clean it up. I can literally get rid of an area that I hate just by cleaning it up. Okay, but I actually like that area, so I'm going to put it back in. So I'm going to go back in. But when you take away color, it gives you a different feeling. So even though I took away some, it almost gave it, I really like what happened. So I'm going to do it again over here and see what happens if I take away the color. Yeah, pick it up, take it away. I've given more value to the area. Value meaning, oh my gosh, I've got dark and light areas and I'm kind of liking it. I'm actually thinking that looks more rocky-like. No one's going to judge you on your rocks as long as they just don't look like blobs. Okay? No one's going to judge you. And I just can't wait. You guys are going to feel so proud when you show this to somebody, because really it takes your time. And not a lot of people have this kind of patience to sit here and do something like this. I got to tell you, like, how do you do it? And it's just like, well, it's actually not that hard. But I mean, I don't say that. And I don't tell them it only took me 2 hours to do it. Come on, don't give away your secrets, guys. Don't give away my secrets, that's for sure. And if you like this class, you know what? I'm going to give so many different ones. I might even paint a cupcake one week. And you'll be like, cupcake? How can you do the Golden Gate Bridge one week and a cupcake the next? Why not? Okay. So do I like it? It's all right. It's not my favorite, but that's okay. All right, guys. I'm going to put you on hold and I'm going to dry this up and then we're going to paint the bridge. Here we go. Going to dry it up. I'm back. Okay, so I dried it up and now I think it's time. We are going to mix the color for the bridge. So what it is, it's a mixture of these two colors, okay? So how am I going to get that color that I want? Well, first of all, I'm going to take some of the orange and put it down here, because if I take it right. If I start mixing it here, I will be upset if I don't like the color. And then I'm going to go in and take a little bit of this orange oxide and I'm going to mix it in there. See? And I think, oh, that's too dark. I don't know if I like it or not, right? So you have to decide, all right, what color do I want it? Do I want it a little brighter? Well, then I take a little bit more and add it to it. We're not using the white yet, guys. Okay, mix it in there. Take it, mix it in there. It's not too orangey, but it's not too yucky either. So do I like this color? Well, I could go over here and see sort of, yeah, I like it. It's okay. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get up and get some clean water and I will be right back. So I'm going to put you on pause. Okay, I'm back. I do have to tell you, I made myself some tea and I forgot to drink it. And now it's cold and too strong. I do that all the time. It drives me crazy. Okay, guys, what size brush am I using? Well, I am definitely going to use a smaller one because this is delicate painting. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm up to. I'm actually not pre-wetting. Okay, normally I do, but I'm just taking a little bit at a time and I'll show you. I go like this in the middle, and if I have to, I clean it off and I move it around. Okay. Don't worry right now about the shadows. So just get the color in and see if you like it. And then we will continue. And I constantly use my paper towel to wipe off my brush to make it so that my point is better. And then I also wipe it off if I feel like I have too much on there. So I'm going to do the crisscross. And I really don't have much of this one at the bottom, and I don't even know if there is one, but I'm going to put it in there anyway. Okay. If it's too dark while it's still damp, go in, wet your brush, and then just go ahead, you can go ahead and just brush in a little bit of water, and that'll lighten it up a bit. I would prefer that this one, oh my dogs, I'm so sorry guys. I would prefer that this one be darker than the other one because perspective, you want it lighter, but it's up to you. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little square. Somebody must be here picking up stuff, and here comes my husband or my sons to tell them to be quiet. We love them, but they drive us crazy. Ooh, uh-oh. Well, they're just protecting the house, you know, we just don't need that much protection. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this long thing here. And by the way, the only thing I used for the lines is the pen. I used the black pen to get the lines in. And we're going to be putting purple in to make this look a little darker underneath. And the purple is just amazing what it does. It just gives it so much personality. Okay, so there we go. We got that in. It's not too hard as long as you don't shake too much, you know. All right, now I'm going to go up and do these guys. Now you'll notice that I do have an extra line in there, and that's just so you can see. But if you do up on one side, down on the other, and I just do a straight line so I can just kind of get an idea of where is it going, you know, and then it goes across, of course, across. But these aren't quite as square as the other ones. These ones, when we get in our shadows, it'll look a little different. And I got to tell you, it is hard to keep it straight. I mean, worst case scenario, I guess you could at the end use your white pen to sort of outline areas, you know, like to make it look straight. But, you know, I mean, it's a painting. It's a freehand painting. It's not like you're out there with your, you know, making everything perfect. So I made one of these paintings at Ben Franklin with Karen McComb. This is how I started watercolor painting. And we did the Golden Gate Bridge. It was wonderful. So my parents live in Montana, and I gave it to them years ago, and they took it to a fancy place, like a place that I would never go, like to pay a lot of money for special non-reflective glass, and they put it in their sunroom, and it was just gorgeous. It really did quite a lot for it. Well, then my dad passed away, and my mom moved to a smaller place. And she says, "Joan, I know you painted this for us, but do you want it back?" And I was like, "Yes, of course I want it back. What do you think?" Because I never would have done it otherwise. So now I have it hanging up in my house. So anyway, there we go. And now we're going to do the next one. I like to turn mine upside down sometimes because I am right-handed, and it makes it easier for me to go ahead and do the little details. The first one I did with a group of 7 wonderful ladies, and it just took forever because I don't know, I was so worried that we would make any mistakes or whatever. But then we all were like, "Oh my God, we did it." And we noticed that the bottom part was off. This was completely off. So then I had to fix it. And then I also fixed the perspective. At least I think I did. I'm not in AP art. My son is. So anyway, people are going to know what it is. They're not going to say, "What? I don't get it. Is that supposed to be a bridge? Hardy har har." And I think a couple of them were going to do it again. So the paper you have is Arches. It's called Arches, and I get it online. And you can get it in a pack of 10, or you can get it in a pack of 20. And a pack of 20, I have to warn you, is expensive. Of course, it turns out to be about $2.50 a sheet. If you got the 300-pound, it's $5 a sheet, which is ridiculous, but it's worth it. All right, because I want this to be lighter, I'm going to go ahead and lift some of the color. Lifty, lifty, loo. Because remember, it's farther away. And if you don't have your contacts in, no, just kidding. So lifting it a little bit and making it a little lighter. If it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I want to try and get the value a little lighter. Come on, you, pick it up. Okay, now time for the purple. Okay, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out one little spot. I think I'm going to clean out this spot right here. Okay. Ah, okay, let's see if I can show you where this is. Whoops, what just fell? Oh, just all my stuff. I'll have to pick that up so the dogs don't eat my nice paintbrushes. Don't you dare eat those. Okay, so how am I going to get this beautiful darker color in here, the purple? And then I'm going to take a little bit of my color and kind of meld it in there and go in there like that. And then I'm going to put a very thin piece here. And I might even put a little down here, even though I've got color. And then I'm going to go under the bridge and put it all the way across and put the shadow here and here. So wherever you see in the picture, the darker color, that's my purple. Okay. So here goes nothing. All right, I'm going to take, whoops, got to back it up a little. Take a little of the purple and put it here. Get it wet. Okay. See, I gave you way too much, but that's good. I'll do it again, right? I could probably paint another one. I just need a little bit more of that color, but that's okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to take a little bit of my purple, zoom in here so you can see, and I'm going to very, very lightly go in at the bottom. It's not good if I start screaming. At the bottom of my bridge. Here we go, putting it in. See? Ah, there. Now I want to put it in right here because it's got a little bit of a thing here, and then it looks like the letter R, and a little bit here, and a little bit here. Okay, now I can go all the way down with my purple as well. And now, boop, I'm going to go ahead and do just this back part because apparently there is a little bit of a shadow there, and I'm barely using any. I mean, like I'm wiping it off and just going in there and putting in a little stripe. It'll look good. And then I'm going to go down here and put that in there because I already put a color in, but I'm almost thinking the purple will make it look like it's definitely in the shadow. And we already know that it's the Golden Gate Bridge, but I just want a little bit in there. Okay. I think I got a little bit of action going on here that I'm not thrilled about, so I got to try and fix it. And I'm going to look at my thing and see where the line is. Okay, there. Now I need it on the other side too. So I'm going to take very watered down, and I have to make sure I get it on the right part. I better turn it right side out so I can see. Oh, it's going on this side. Okay, very thin amount, the letter L, 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 and L. But it almost looks like the line goes all the way down, and it does. Okay, cool. Put the line underneath here. Make the line over here, and even the X. X marks a spot. If you did put in the X, some of you maybe didn't. We'll put a little darker in here. And I like it. And I'm going to go ahead and make it a little darker going all the way up. And now I'm going to take my color again because I can see now that I need to brighten it up. I feel like I have kind of dulled it down a little bit. So I heard that when they were painting the bridge, when they paint it, they have to go, they start on one side and then they finish it, and then they just have to start on the other side again. So it's just a constant. And one of the ladies doing the class the other day, God love her, hers turned out great, by the way. She remembers when it was 25 cents to cross the bridge. And I remember when it was $3 because I just moved out here, and I used to pay for the person in back of me every time I went over it because I just thought that was so much fun. Now, one thing I did notice that I didn't do is I didn't make the shadow kind of going over the center area. So I don't know if you can do that or not, but I didn't go across the way there for the letter R. My R needs to be a little thicker. And now I think I did okay. Oh my gosh, I made it too thick, but who cares? I'm sure yours is amazing. And voila! The only thing we have to do, or we don't have to do, is put in the lines with our pen, sign it for gosh sakes. Now, this is the fun part. Get your medium-sized brush. Let's see, it's not my big brush, but it's my 8 brush. Okay. Then I'm going to get a little bit of water. This is not watercolor. This is gouache. Gouache is like poster paint. Okay. And it's a little bit like tofu. When you use it, it takes on the color of what you're doing. Okay. So if you look at my painting, I put in a little here to make it look like the waves. So let's go ahead, put some in, and you can even make it do a little splashy splash, and then clean off your brush, and then you just sort of make it soft. You can go like this, and you can go in the water, and it'll actually make the water look like light and bubbly. Remember I told you that we were going to put in some bubbles and stuff? Okay, so now what do I want to do? Well, I'm not real sure about using this stuff yet. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go in with the tip and go ahead and put in a little bit of foam, because when it hits the rocks, of course, it's going to get a little foamy. Okay, and I can go like this and make it look like, you know, when it comes in, it comes rolling in. And I can even put in a couple roly-polies, and the whole length I can go ahead and put in some. I'm kind of rolling my brush. I'm not getting it real wet, and I'm rolling it the whole time. So I'm going to zoom in here for you and clean off my brush and then show you what I'm doing. I'm taking it and oops, I'm getting it kind of messy here. See if I can do it. All right, here it goes. I'm going to take my water brush and make it look like the waves are coming in. Okay, it's nice because you can do different layers. So what am I doing? I'm going in and I'm kind of moving things around a little bit. Okay, get a little more water with that. Okay, now how am I going to put in these bubbles? Well, go ahead, just go in and do a circular motion, and we'll get the blue in a minute. I'm going to put in all this area, okay? And I'm splashing up like this and actually doing circles, okay? And now I'm going to take my brush, clean it off, and then clean away a little bit of the white. And then I can see the blue underneath. See? If I clean off the white underneath, I can see the blue. Well, if I can see the blue, then what I can do is add a little more water, and then it looks like I've actually got different layers going on. See? So I got to tell you, I don't think it looks like a cloud. It actually looks like I've got some real live waves going on. And you know, of course, they're crashing up and doing strange things. So you can go ahead and put your little crashy waves in there. Okay. Ooh, crashing waves. Awesome. Let me think what would happen if I put a little blue in there just for the fun of it. I'm just testing this out. I'm just putting a little blue in there to see what would happen if I put blue in a wave. Ooh, I like that, you guys. I've got a little brown in there and I'm not thrilled with it. So I'm going to go back in, put a little thing here, and then sometimes with a dry brush, it's fun too. And then what am I going to do? Well, I don't know. I'll add a little blue and see what happens. Let's put a little blue right here. Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. No, what am I doing? That's crazy. John, you're crazy. All right, cool. So how do I make it look like waves crashing? Put in some more blue, move it around. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Okay, well, I'll put some more blue in here, wiggle it around, twisting it. It's like I'm pretending I'm the waves. Okay, I have really lost it. Okay, ta-da! Now, where else do I need it? Well, I got to tell you, if you want to put in a little extra here, or you want to go in and lighten it up a bit, you can. So I can go in, put the water in, clean off my brush, and I can lighten that up. Because you know, on the beach, that part with the waves coming in, I can make it look super light. If you absolutely hate it and you think you need a little bit more blue, you can put some in. But it's almost like chocolate milk, but it's blue milk. So you've made some blue milk, right? All right. I love it. And I think as long as you keep it dark back there, you're going to be fine, you know? I'll put a little more white in there. And by the way, you can do different levels of white. Maybe you want to have, you know, a little extra here. You know, it always gets kind of foamy. Okay, last thing we're going to do. I'm not going to actually draw in the stuff, but the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to splash it. So how do I splash it? Well, I'm going to take a piece of paper and cover the everything but the beach. Okay, so there's the beach, completely covered everywhere else. And then I'm going to take my medium brush, and I'm going to get the brown. There's my brown. Okay, I'm going to twist this around. And then I'm going to tap it on another brush. Let's see if I can do this. Tapping, tapping, tapping. I like it. Now, I don't want just that color. I want to have some white on the beach. So here it goes. Tapping, tapping, tapping. Maybe those are seashells. Maybe not. And now I'm going to take some of my burnt umber. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of that on the beach as well. When you are done, remember it's going to be kind of wet, but you will have some sand looking. Definitely got some sand going on there. I will take my pen and I will draw in some lines. I got to tell you, there's no reason why you need to do the rest of them. You could just leave it as is, or you could go in and put your lines in there. When you decide where you're going to sign it, first decide how are you going to put it in the thing. Am I going to go like this? Right? And so then I have to decide, okay, maybe I want more of this. Maybe I want more of that. I don't know. I have to decide where I'm going to do it, because that will decide where I'm going to sign it as well. So you don't want to sign it down here, especially if it's going to be covered up. I would date it. It's a new year. I am thrilled that we went ahead and did this. I'm going to stop the share. And I'm just going to say, congratulations. You gave birth to the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's awesome. I would like my stuff back, please, or I can't charge $20 a class because this stuff costs money. Just return everything, even the big old plastic. I don't want the pieces of paper. You can keep the picture of it. You can keep in case you want to do it again, but you just need to wash this off. I have a lot of paint left. I don't know about you, but I think I could almost do another one if I wanted to. So if you're going to buy paper, buy Canson extra large 140 pound. Don't use anything less than 140 pound. Okay. All right, guys, that was fun.